Every day the man eats whatever he wants and no one ever notices. With just a slight movement of his eyes, passers-by would hand him money. But today, he discovered a man who was completely unaffected by his control. So he quickly amplified his power to control Xiao Shuai. He thought he had immobilized him, but unexpectedly, Xiao Shuai could still move freely. In a fit of rage, he used his superpower again. But even though everyone else was frozen, Xiao Shuai still wasn't immobilized. To completely destroy him, the man controlled a car to send him to the northwest. He thought the only person who escaped his control had disappeared, but Xiao Shuai hadn't died at all. Instead, he was able to walk again within just 3 days. It turned out that Xiao Shuai also had no matter what injury he suffered, he would miraculously heal within 3 days. When the man saw Xiao Shuai wasn't dead, he rushed into Xiao Shuai's house. In just 2 seconds, everyone was immobilized and couldn't move. When Xiao Shuai turned his head, he directly faced the man's demon eyes. But even at such a close distance, the man still couldn't control Xiao Shuai. Just as Xiao Shuai pinned the man down, he used his superpower. The next second, the wife picked up a kitchen knife and stabbed Xiao Shuai in the kidney. He even controlled the wife to push the father off the windowsill. In the end, the father passed away. Xiao Shuai decided to avenge his father and erase the hatred. The next day, he found the monster for revenge. But he controlled a passerby to throw a baby off the rooftop. Helpless, Da Zhuang jumped down to catch the child. But the real danger had just begun. Fortunately, the man reacted in time, but when he turned back, another 100-ton flower bed fell down. This time, the man couldn't dodge in time. He threw the child to the side, but he himself was heavily thrown into the bottom of the flower bed. At this moment, all the people who had just attacked the man suddenly woke up, but they had no memory of what they had done. Only the mother who lost her child noticed the child was missing. Following the child's cries, the woman quickly found the child, but she didn't see the man crushed under the flower bed at all. The man's blood stained the entire ground red. At this moment, a man slowly approached her, but he just wanted to see if Xiao Shuai, who was crushed under the flower bed, was really dead. It turned out he was the real murderer, just because he had a pair of demon eyes that could control others. And Xiao Shuai was the only one who was not controlled by him. So he tried every possible way to get rid of him. But the man didn't notice that Xiao Shuai's finger, who was already dead, moved again. Meanwhile, the protagonist returned home to find the house full of police. He immediately used his superpower to immobilize all the police. But just as he was packing up his belongings to make his escape, the police radio suddenly announced that he was wanted nationwide. At this moment, the protagonist was unwilling to accept it because no one remembered his name. Everyone called him a monster. So in a fit of rage, he controlled all the police to kill each other. Just when he thought that without Xiao Shuai as an obstacle, he could do whatever he wanted like before, Xiao Shuai miraculously came back to life again. After experiencing this, Xiao Shuai also realized that perhaps only he could truly stop the protagonist from wreaking havoc on the world. So the two agreed to a final resolution. But what Xiao Shuai didn't expect was that the protagonist took everyone in the theater as hostages.
俺を止めるって気は確かかお前のせいでみんな苦しむお前がいなければ誰も苦しまなかった
If Xiao Shuai did not surrender within a minute, he would execute one person every minute. Watching these innocent people die one by one in front of him, Xiao Shuai's heart was in immense agony. Before he could plan to deal with the protagonist, his wife was already under the protagonist's control, heading towards the bottomless spiral staircase. At this moment, with just a glance from the protagonist, his wife could lose her life at any time. With no other options, Xiao Shuai had to kneel and surrender. At this moment, Xiao Shuai saw his own name in the book that the protagonist was carrying. When Xiao Shuai called the protagonist's name, the protagonist coughed up blood that had been building for 30 years. He then lost his balance and tumbled down the stairs. Meanwhile, Xiao Shuai, in an effort to